So, quite a while ago, I made a video about a Peugeot 205, more accurately, my Peugeot 205 CJ, called Meg. And after that video, a couple of friends, most notably James Bellis from Seized Gearbox, said, "Oh, you should make more videos like that." So, I used to be quite big into this YouTube thing. I've since obviously privated all my videos because I've moved on since then. But I thought, you know what? Let's whip the camera back out and have a play, shall we? So, that's my Citroen BX estate there. This is a 1994 BX19 TXD, so that means it's a non-turbo diesel, about 70 horsepower. It is known to the Citroen Car Club. I have written an article for the Citroenian magazine about it. The previous owner, James Sainsbury, also wrote an article for the Citroenian magazine about it because he saved it from the Chevronics breakers yard at the Chevronics Centre. He put an engine in it and got it back roadworthy again. Then it sat for a couple of years after he, I assume, got bored of fixing it because it's had its fair share of issues, mostly hydraulic related, to be honest. And yeah, here it is. This is one of my toys. One of many, many, many toys. But it's not my only diesel. Those of you who remember my videos from way back when know that I have a Citroen ZX estate as well. Also a 1.9 diesel. That one's a turbo. That one's currently in bits in my garage, having lots of rust cut out of it and welding done. I've not really got the motivation for that project at the minute because it is a mammoth task. By any capacity, it is not worth doing. This BX is a far better bet in terms of rust. However, one day we will get round to it. It was my first car. It deserves to live. There's very few of them left now. As there is with these, there's very few BXs left as well. So that's a quick nose around the BX. I will do a driving video, the same as the 205 at some stage. It's got the heady heights of 169,000 miles on the clock. And that's the interior. Quite decent nick, to be honest, for the mileage that's on it. It's got quite an interesting history, so I will make a video dedicated to it. But we'll just wander over to another one of my projects, shall we? Mark II Jetta. Yellow. Shouldn't be yellow, it should be black. Someone's gone mad with a rattle can on it. This is a 1.6 non-turbo diesel. So, no power at all, 54 brake. Propelling it to the heady heights of 60 mile an hour in a couple of calendar months. So I bought this. It had been abandoned outside a garage next door to the MOT station that I use at the garage I work at. It had been sat out there for 8 years, 9 years, somewhere around about there, because it was an MOT fail on rust, and a couple of other bits and pieces. So I bought this in March. It's now the last day of May. I've done bits of welding on it, as you can see on the sills. Cobbled some patches in there just to make it solid. It could do with some sills, but that was just the bits where people had filled holes previously and they'd gone a bit manky and rotted out again. So it's done. It's not pretty, but it's solid. It'll get an MOT. I've done bits in the floors and the jacking points and the rear beam mounts as well, because obviously with it being sat for so long and being rotten when it was parked, it was then a lot worse afterwards. So it runs and drives. It's going for an MOT not that far away. I put 2 new tyres on the front because they were bald on the inside edges because some idiot had put coilovers on it and it was absolutely slammed. It was about maybe 2 inches off the floor at most. So the underneath of it was just smashed to bits from every speed bump it had gone over. So obviously I've put lowering springs on it that are slightly higher than the coilovers were, but still not quite standard ride height, because standard ride height is ridiculous on these. They look like a 4x4. Anyway, it's got standard Volkswagen equipment BBS alloys. They have the Volkswagen and Audi logos stamped into them behind the BBS centre caps there. I'll just have a look at the interior. This one has done, how many miles are we on? 254,000 miles. There you go. That's what an interior of a 38-year-old Jetta looks like that's been sat for a very long time. So yeah, we'll get round to this one eventually. This is nearly there now. I've just got a electric pump to put on instead of the priming bulb because the priming bulb burst on it yesterday. So with an electric pump, hopefully it should draw from the tank a little bit better. The injection pump on the engine's a little bit tired, so it's not quite drawing as well as it should do. Possibly should do something about the bumper that's hanging off as well, and the bottom of that door ain't so pretty. However, I cannot wait to get this one on the road, because imagine bombing around in that. It's cool as hell, isn't it? So you will probably see this on seized gearbox at some point, with James having a drive of it, because I believe he's interested. And I will also do a driving my Jetta video when it's road legal. In fact, I've got to move it out of that parking space in order to put the next car I'm about to show you in this parking space. So you can sit in with me while I'm doing that, and it will run like shit because the priming bulb's got a big hole in it, it's drawing air in. But that's not the point. So, number 3 on the list, things to show you. I bought my dream car off Facebook Marketplace last week. Passat B3. 1.6 turbo diesel. Again, been sat off the road for about a decade. As you can see, it's not that bad. It's got sills. It's mostly got arches. I don't think there's going to be any welding for its MOT, to be honest with you. It does run. Again, this one needs an electric pump putting on because it's struggling drawing from the tank. It's done 170,000 miles, 168, somewhere around about there. Whether it's just drawing in air through a split pipe after being sat for so long, I don't know. However, it does seem to run quite happily with the electric pump. So you can sit in with me while I'm doing this, while I'm driving this into its space as well. So we'll just sit in this one for a minute, I think. So there you go, 168,606. The dashboard's half out because it does need a heater matrix. I've bypassed that for now. You can see it's a bit mouldy over there because it has been damp. But it's not bad, apart from those little holes in the seat there. The interior's not so bad. Right, we'll start playing musical cars then. Right, so the easiest one to move is the Jetta because the clutch hydraulics on the Passat are a bit questionable after being sat for so long. So we'll just wait for the preheat light to go out, cold start handles out. Let's go. And we'll have to be quick with this because, as I said, it'll draw in air through the... There we go. On the move. So we'll just lay this up behind the Passat, I think. I'll tell you what, no, we'll go behind that Mariva over there. There we go. She made it. So I've got an electric pump coming for this tomorrow to make it run properly. And we'll go from there. So Passat next. So we're now in the Passat. Let's put the key in. There she is, wait for the preheat light. Cold start handles out. Out of gear. Let's open the window, yes. Poverty spec windows. Let's go. Wait for it to settle down a bit. I think this one's probably also drawing air through from the tank a bit. There you go. Right, onwards. Like I said, the clutch hydraulics are a bit rammy on this one. So we're going in the workshop. I want to get it on the ramp and have a nosy round underneath, see what she needs. there we go. Knock her off. The clutch pedal's stuck to the floor, so I'm thinking that's master cylinder. There's no external fluid leaks, it's just loses its pedal when you hold your foot on it. So I'll get it up in the air and let's have a look round underneath, shall we? So I would just like to correct my original statement. There is some welding to do, which really doesn't surprise you because it's 35 years old. However, there's a hole in the driver's sill there, which I think is fairly localised looking at that. You know, the inside of the floor feels okay there. So we'll probably just go with around there somewhere. And the passenger sill, sorry, is a little bit worse. That one is going into the floor slightly, but the Jetta was the same in the same sort of places, so it's obviously just an old Volkswagen thing. So she's not amazing, but she's not awful. We can live with that. Rear beam mounts are all spot on, because normally up there, you can't really see, normally up around there falls out. This is a bit not so nice here, but that doesn't really do anything, so we might just cut that off, I would say, to stop it from spreading into the rest of the car, and put a seam weld along the edge of it to make sure it's solid. Same this side, that little corner's dropped off there, but the back ends of the sills and the inner sills, they don't look the prettiest, but they are solid. That rear brake's binding a little tiny bit, that one's not, that one's free as a daisy, look at that. Big hole in the exhaust there, and tailpipe's missing. We got little hole in the exhaust there, little hole in the exhaust there as well. Both front brakes are binding a smidge. This is caved in where someone's jacked it up in the wrong place, but again, that's not awful. It's not rotten, it's just not the right shape. Still got its under tray, which is amazing. Most cars lose them at normally about 5 years old, let alone 35. Rubbers on the front suspension don't look too bad. Trackward end gaiters add it, should we say. But yeah, CV boots are alright, still nice and soft, no cracks. That one's been a replacement at some point, you can tell by the type of rubber, but again, that's alright. So yeah, she's not too bad, Front subframe mounts are spot on. So she's definitely worth saving, this one. Anti-roll bar D-bushes are fine. No play in anything. So yeah, a couple of bits of welding, 4 tyres, go through the brakes, put an exhaust on her. And we should be alright, I've got a bit of a diesel leak here, because when I got it, this return pipe was sliced in half. I bodged a little bit of rubber pipe on the outside just to get it running without pouring diesel out, but it is still occasionally dripping, so I've got that to look at. I might try some kind of push fitting or quick connect on that. Hopefully it'll seal a bit better. But yeah, she's not bad at all. Clutch hydraulics as well. As I said, I think that's master cylinder. Front wheel bearing is shot, actually. I've just spotted that. The drive shaft's moving. So that one's alright, but yeah, I wobble this wheel, you see the drive shaft's moving around there. So yeah, and it wants an offside front wheel bearing. Power steering doesn't work, which is strange. You can hear the pump loading up when you turn the steering wheel, but the rack just doesn't seem to assist. So I've had that before on a Safira where it was the rack itself, the baffle in the centre with the rubber O-ring that obviously moves backwards and forwards, and the rack pressurises one side to assist that way or the other side to assist that way. That O-ring in the middle had gone, so it was pressurising both sides, so it was just stupidly heavy, which is pretty much what this is like. When it's rolling, it's okay. It's just when it's parked, it is heavier than you'd expect for a car that only weighs 1,100 kilos with little skinny narrow tyres. But yeah, this could have been a lot worse under it, considering it's been sat a decade and it's 35 years old and it's high mileage. Oh, there's a bit in the floor I've just found there as well. That's good, isn't it? That's alright. So the interior is going to have to come out a bit to sort that out, isn't it? Oh yeah, I did initially want this done by the 5th of July, because that is when it's been off the road for a decade. Its MOT ran out on the 5th of July 2016. don't think that's going to happen somehow, because what with getting the Jetta ready and all the rest of it, there's no sense rushing. I'd rather do it properly. I need to do right by this car, because as I said, it's one of my dream cars. I've wanted one for a very long time. In fact, fellow YouTuber, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is it Flexini? Something like that? Where he doesn't talk, he just drags cars out of fields that have been sat for a decade or longer. He dragged a red estate out and got that going, and that was the first time I'd seen one of the B3 Passats. And fuel tank strap's gone there as well. And since then I wanted one, and that was 5.5 years ago that video came out, so I've wanted one of these since then, and I now have one, which I'm quite happy about. But yeah, get the priorities straight. Jetta first, because she's nearly there, and yeah, we'll just go for broke, I think, once the Jetta's sorted. So I have put an electric pump on this. Seeing as it's not going anywhere anytime soon, I might nick it back off this and put it on the Jetta now, so she's ready then. I don't have to worry about it, and then when the new ones turn up tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll put one back on this. But yeah, she's not so bad. Okie dokie, right, that's it for my first YouTube video in quite a long time. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.